Pam Bondi walked confidently into the courtroom, her loyal dog Max trotting beside her. Known for her sharp legal mind, Pam had always drawn attention, but this day, no one expected Max to become the center of the most bizarre moment in courtroom history. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, attorneys, and curious onlookers filled every seat. All eyes were on Bondi, not only because of the high-profile case but also due to the presence of Max. Her trained service dog, Max, a golden retriever with intelligent eyes, sat quietly by Pam's side. He had been trained for years to accompany her in court, especially during stressful trials. But today, he seemed unusually alert, almost like he was waiting for something. The trial began with the prosecution laying out their case. The judge listened intently while the defense side remained calm. Pam Bondi, calm and composed, kept one hand on her notepad and the other occasionally brushing Max's head. Halfway through the morning, Pam subtly tapped her right boot against the bench leg. It was almost unnoticeable to anyone else, but Max's ears twitched. He sat up straighter, his gaze locked on her face. Then, Pam cleared her throat twice in succession. It was a sound she often made during trials. But Max immediately shifted. He leaned forward, nostrils flaring slightly as if picking up a scent or cue no one else could detect. Pam casually crossed her legs and then tilted her head ever so slightly. Max, sensing this trio of silent signals, stood up and began to walk slowly across the courtroom floor. The murmurs began immediately. The judge looked up, puzzled by the movement. Max didn't bark or growl. He walked with purpose toward the prosecution table, sniffing the ground and pausing near one of the prosecutor's bags. A loud gasp filled the room as Max sat firmly in front of the bag. Everyone froze. The prosecutor, visibly confused, looked down at Max, unsure of what was happening or how to react to a dog interrupting court proceedings. The judge raised his hand, signaling silence in the room. "What is going on here?" he asked sharply. Pam Bondi stood up slowly, maintaining her calm, and gently called Max back to her side. But Max didn't move. His body language was clear. He had identified something in the bag that needed attention. The judge, now visibly curious, leaned forward. "Miss Bondi, is your dog indicating something?" Pam nodded. "Your Honor, Max is trained to detect specific substances. He's giving a signal that he's found something unusual in that bag." The courtroom erupted into low murmurs again, and the judge immediately asked the bailiff to inspect the bag. The bailiff carefully opened the bag under supervision. Inside, he found several files, a laptop, and, shockingly, a small unmarked bottle. The room collectively held its breath. The judge's eyes narrowed. "What is that?" he demanded. The prosecutor claimed he had no idea what the bottle was or how it got into his belongings. The judge ordered the item to be tested immediately. Pam stayed silent, her face expressionless. Max finally returned to her side, tail still and posture firm. It was as if he had done his job and was now awaiting the next cue. Minutes later, a court official returned with preliminary results. The bottle contained a banned stimulant illegal to possess in any government building, especially a courtroom. The judge's face turned pale. "This is a serious breach of conduct," he said gravely. "We will pause these proceedings immediately." The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Pam leaned down and gave Max a reassuring pat. The judge, now trying to understand what just unfolded, asked her how the dog was trained for such a scenario. "He responds only to a combination of specific signals," she replied. "Boot tap, throat clear, and head tilt. Each one confirms a step in the detection process. He never acts without that sequence." The judge nodded, clearly impressed. "And what prompted you to give the signal today?" he asked. Pam replied, "Max was restless. He sensed something the moment we walked in. I trusted his instinct." The prosecutor, now visibly shaken, was asked to step aside pending an investigation. The trial was adjourned, but no one left their seats. They were still processing what they had just witnessed. Reporters rushed outside to get the story out. Within hours, headlines exploded across news platforms. Pam Bondi's dog sniffs out illegal substance mid-trial. Social media erupted. Videos from inside the courtroom, showing Max's calm but deliberate actions, went viral. People praised Pam and Max's unbreakable bond and the precision of their communication. Experts in canine behavior were called into news studios. They explained how such training works and how rare it is for a dog to remain that focused under such high-pressure environments. Pam Bondi gave a brief statement outside the courthouse. She didn't gloat. She simply said, "Max did his job. He protected the integrity of this courtroom, and for that, I'm proud." That evening, television segments ran side-by-side comparisons of police dogs and courtroom support dogs. Max quickly became a national hero. Pam later revealed that Max had been trained by one of the top scent detection programs in the country. He had previously worked in customs detection before joining her for courtroom work. The judge issued a statement the following day, praising Pam for her professionalism and Max for his discipline. He called the moment a rare and remarkable display of trust between human and animal. The case would resume after a full investigation, but already, questions were being raised about the credibility of the prosecution's evidence, given the discovery. Max received the medal from the city's legal department. Photos of him wearing it next to Pam made front-page news. Schools and legal institutions started discussing adding trained service animals in courtrooms. Pam received hundreds of emails from people praising her for staying calm and for letting Max do what he was trained to do. She replied personally to dozens, thanking them for their support. What started as a typical day in court had turned into a national discussion about integrity, trust, and the role animals can play in the justice system, all because of a secret signal and a loyal dog named Max. And somewhere in all the media buzz and celebration, Max remained grounded. His focus never changed. Wherever Pam went, he followed, always alert, always loyal, always ready.